What up, what up, what up? Welcome to the Lev Game Season 2, Episode 9, The Average Man's Perspective on Football. I'm your co-host, Marcus. And as you can tell by your screen right now, we are a few dudes short. But we felt like we had to start on time, so Brian and Mark will be joining us hopefully pretty soon. Who is here on time is Herman. Say what up, Herman.
What's up, people?
Uh,
Welcome to Delayed Game.
I want to encourage you to like, share, subscribe, like the channel, like the video, like the channel, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Help us get these likes up. Help us get this Google AdSense money because we need it. I also want to encourage you to go on over to sportsintel.net for some great commentary and everything sports related. Once again, that's sportsintel.net. And
I think I see a car pulling up. Oh no, that's not them.
that's
Oh,
not them. Well, this is an NFL football show, but we're going to talk about the World Series for a little bit because, as a lot of you guys know, we are based in the Washington D.C. area, and tonight is Game 7 of the World Series, so it's make it or break it time for the Washington Nationals. What you think, Herman?
yeah, this has been a crazy World Series. Like, no home team has won a game yet, so that bodes well for the Nationals. You know, all the pressure's on the Astros right now.
It is. I just wish if they do pull off tonight, I wish they could have done it in D.C. It would have been so much better that way.
But it would have been. But that's so typical of a Washington team, though, for them to win it on the road.
But actually, you know what? It might have got rained out if it was here, though.
That's true. That's true because it has been raining for a while now.
Yeah, it's been raining for a long time.
I hope they pull it out. It's gonna be, they're still gonna be partying in the streets. They said that the watch party at the stadium, it's like almost sold capacity of the stadium. I think 36,000 people, not sold, but 36,000 people got tickets.
I could believe that. I could definitely believe that. It's right.
Yeah, so they are definitely gonna be partying in the streets if they pull this one off. It's gonna be pretty interesting.
Anybody that's watching that feel like they should start watching this to watch the World Series, just put it on the background, put it on mute, watch us on your laptop. You can see what's going on.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. You see, I keep looking over that way because that's where my TV is. So
we'll be long off the air before it gets really interesting.
So yeah, these two still ain't here.
Yeah, so they running mad late. So let's talk about Baker Mayfield. He had a blow up with a reporter. Well, I guess not really a blow up. He just walked off. Thought the reporter asked him a stupid question. Asked him how I believe they were talking about that fourth down play where I think they weren't going to go for it at first. Then they got an offsides or something or a delayed game, and then they decided to go for it at like 4th and 15 and didn't get it. And the reporter asked him, how you feel about that play? And then Baker was like, how you think I felt about that play? Which I understand is kind of like a stupid question, but he walked off and then he went on Twitter and ranted, which is it's so millennial. It's like instead of staying there and talking to the talking to
like
the reporter,
a mature person would do.
Talking to the reporter, he walks off and goes and puts it on Twitter. What are your thoughts on that?
Man, you know what? When I saw the video, you know who the first person was that I thought about?
Who was that?
It was Ryan Leaf. It felt so Ryan Leaf. I was like, are we getting ready to see this again now? Because I mean, it shows his level of immaturity because it's like you said, stay there, talk to a reporter. I mean, you can get mad, but just hey, I don't want to answer the next question. I already answered your question, whatever. But to storm off and then you're gonna go get on Twitter and tweet about it, like, come on, what is that all about? And like you said, it's such a millennial thing for him to do that. It's kind of crazy.
It's all. I think it's all just frustration. They expect to be a lot better than what they are. They got all that talent, and it's not looking good for them at all right now. When you're winning, there are no problems. Everything's over in the Patriots locker room. Everybody's happy. Everybody's smiling. Over there in the Browns locker room, everybody's getting down, starting to be whispers and people talking behind each other's back and all stuff like that. But that's what losing will do to you, especially when you had such high expectations to start the year.
Yeah, I mean, who can you be mad at but yourself? I mean, unless you're reading a bunch of press clippings telling you how good you're supposed to be. I mean, you can't, just because it's on paper don't mean that that's how it's going to translate. You got to go out there and work for it. So, I mean, it just means that to me, you're not working hard enough. The coaches aren't coaching good enough. And as a team, don't be mad at the outside world. You need to they need to look in the mirror. I didn't think that this trade for OBJ was going to be a great deal for them, in my opinion. Anyway, I feel like just as much as Baker Mayfield's overrated, so is Beckham Jr. In my opinion. He hasn't. This shows he hasn't done anything since he's gone to the Browns. So
he hasn't done anything in quite a few years, actually.
That's true. He hasn't. Who's he going to blame now? Before they were blaming Eli a little bit about it. Mm-hmm. So I guess now it's Baker's fault. Is it all on him? They have a running back. I mean, granted they had some problems with their line, but they have a good running back. They got two good receivers, and supposedly an up and coming quarterback. Why is this failing? Like, they've taken a step back now from what they did towards the end of the season last year, and the question is why? Is it Kitchens? Because Kitchens is he's doing too much. That's one of the questions I wonder. Like, he's a head coach and an offensive coordinator. Is he doing too much at this point?
Well, I think the big problem is Kitchens. In less than a year's time, he went from being a position coach,
quarterbacks
coach to OC to head coach.
Yeah,
that's a hell of a fast track right there in less than a year.
But it's too much. If he's going to be the head coach, then he needs an OC. I think that's part of the problem. Is that he it's open. It's open.
Tell him hurry up. Tell me you're on the air. Tell him hurry up.
We on the air, just so y'all know. But yeah, so I think the problem is I don't know if it was that he rose too fast, but I don't know if he has supporting cast around him as coaches either to do what he needs to do. I mean, the bottom line is I think that he's overrated. Not overrated. He's overwhelmed as a coach. They shouldn't have made him a head coach, and without the supporting people. So I think that's part of the problem. Hey, look, our other people showed up.
It's not my fault. It's all to you, boy.
Your favorite late host is here, you guys.
It was me. It was all me.
No, we're blaming Eddie Kane. Don't worry about Mark.
Shut up, Mark.
Eddie Kane. It's Eddie Kane.
Yeah, I might want to hurry up. We are on the air.
Yeah, I'm gonna be my. Don't blame it on the sunshine.
But yeah, I think Greg Williams should have been he should have carried that. He should have been the coach. Kitchens he's in over his head. He just doesn't know what to do. He's outclassed.
That's true, because you could have kept Kitchens as your offensive coordinator if you kept Greg Williams as the head coach. That's true.
Yeah. And I think we probably could have started. They could have started right where they left off last year, but that's not the case.
You're talking about Cleveland.
We're talking about Cleveland.
All right, so we got Mark and Brian finally in the house. And he's hosting tonight. He was late.
Who, me?
Yes, you.
Yeah, you.
No.
Yes.
Eddie Kane's here.
Eddie Kane Jr.
All right. So did we?
We didn't talk. We didn't do anything.
We haven't done anything. We talked about the Nationals and the Browns. That was it.
Oh, okay.
So let's go.
Let's get to it.
Talked about the Nationals on the NFL.
Yes.
All right. So we're going to go back and we're going to review last week. Have a discussion about the games that we picked and figure out where we were right and where we went wrong. So the first game that we're going to discuss is the Sunday night game.
The Sunday night game.
Thursday night game. That ain't it either. That was the Washington team.
Don't even stop that now.
Versus the Minnesota Vikings. Minnesota Vikings ended up winning this game 19-9. Case Keenum got knocked out to this game with a concussion. The Redskins dropped to 1-7. The Vikings improved their record to 6-2. Herman, how'd you have this game?
I picked the Vikings. I mean, it was pretty much a given that the Vikings were going to win that game. I guess the Washington team got to see what they wanted. They got to see.
Oh, what's this Washington team nonsense?
Huh?
What's this Washington team nonsense?
That's what we call them, Washington.
No, we call them Washington Redskins. That's what they are.
No, I don't call them.
Whatever.
But the Washington team, they got to see Haskins, what they wanted to see. So I don't know if they got to see what they wanted to see, but they did get to see Haskins. So it'd be interesting because if he's in the concussion protocol, Keenum most likely he's going to be in it again. This week he's not going to clear. So maybe Haskins starting or Colt McCoy.
Well, I believe that the temporary head coach has stated that he probably isn't going to start Colt. More than likely, it's either going to be Keenum or Haskins.
Yeah, I don't think he likes Colt McCoy.
I don't think he's going to go down that. Colt was more
Gruden's man.
Yeah, little baby. So, Marcus, how did you feel?
I picked the Vikings, and I was right, of course. Sorry, I'm not kidding. I picked the Redskins. That was that was
great. I was going to say roll back. I was going to say roll back the last show.
That was an emotional pick. What can I say? It's just not a good time to be a Washington Redskins fan. The game pretty much went how you expected. There's not much to say. They are good right now. There's only a few teams on the same level or lower than them, very few, and obviously the Vikings is not one of them. The Vikings are a true contender, so it is what it is.
So I went with the Vikings on this one. Like Marcus said, it kind of went the way it went, but the Redskins were actually in this game a few times. Mm-hmm. Definitely a couple of questionable fourth and one. The Vikings tried to go for it and gave the Redskins short field. It's like they were trying to dominate the Skins, but for some reason things weren't going in their favor. I mean, they kicked a bunch of field goals in this game. Cousins was okay. They got run over. The running back did do a lot for the Vikings. He had a nice game, but I mean, it was okay.
Diggs had a huge.
Diggs had a really
good game, despite his fumble.
Yeah, 123 yards. Yeah.
And a touchdown, right? And then even the backup was kind of running. The Redskins' defense, their running defense was torched in this particular game. But I picked the Vikings. I picked that one right. We're gonna finish it off with Mr. Parker.
Yeah, the Vikings kind of ran over this Washington team. Dalvin Cook.
Hey, it's the Washington Redskins, doggone it.
Oh, okay. Dalvin Cook rushed for 171 yards. On this defense, and he scored a touchdown. Cousins didn't turn the ball over. I'm surprised.
Why? I mean,
I'm surprised too.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
But you're right too, because I mean, whenever the lights are bright is when he seems to dim. He didn't play well that game.
He sucks on Monday Night Football. I guess it's better Thursday.
280. He did come up with
285. He was 23 for 26.
Yeah, but he didn't turn the ball over.
You said he didn't.
I mean, he just when you watch the game, it just didn't seem like he was doing
those
anything.
numbers. 23 for 26, 285.
Yeah.
That's a high quarterback rating.
Right.
No touchdown?
No touchdown.
Yeah, no touchdown.
But 3 incompletions?
And
he was dinking and dunking and tossed to the running back.
For 200, he dink and dunk for 285 yards?
Hey, but I can get 285 yards in the football.
Thank you.
On.
I mean, last year
anybody
you
can
were
get 285.
complaining about Dak, so that's all he was averaging a game, like 285 yards.
That's not true.
And then
That's exactly true.
Case Keenum got knocked out the second half, and Haskins got in. He didn't look like he was ready. He was prepared.
He only had 5 passes, so he didn't even get one.
He wasn't ready for it. But I chose the Vikings on this one. I was victorious. Hey.
But before we move on, we got some breaking news from the fifth Beatle, Mordecai Home. Trent Williams failed his physical.
Oh, yeah.
You're lying.
No, he did. At first they said he passed it, and then they came back and said he failed it.
You know what? That actually doesn't surprise me because we all know that Trent Williams is not going to play it down for the Washington Redskins this year. And that just gives him another
he got traded, right?
No, he
no,
didn't.
He did?
No.
Yeah, the trade
he
fell
is still
through.
That's why he reported.
Yeah, he thought he was going to get traded, and then it fell through.
Yeah, so you guys couldn't agree on it with the Browns at the last minute, so the time ran out. So therefore, the trade didn't go down the way that we expected it to be.
Sucks to be him this year.
It does. It does. And not only that, but it also sucks to be the Redskins. I mean, from reports that, I guess we're kind of getting ahead of ourselves because we're going to have a conversation about the trade things. But there were some reports they had some good trade offers out there for him from, Cleveland.
A couple of number one picks.
Yeah.
They wanted to offer
Yeah,
him, but
and I
The
mean,
GM was just pissed.
the
Well,
GM
you
was-
know, that's what the Redskins do. You know, they ain't too
but you
bright.
know, I don't even know if this is a Redskin thing. This is more of the GM thing, trying to, I guess, show that they're not going to, they know player going to just decide who if they want to play with us or not. You know, they're going
You,
to.
you talking about the GM for the Redskins, right?
Yeah.
Well, then it's a Redskin thing.
Well, yeah, I mean, the owner lets it. The owner
The owner does
happen.
let it go. This is true. That is
But
true.
yeah, let's move on to the picks. Let's get into that.
So the next game we're going to play was the Sunday night game, and that was the Packers who came into Kansas City to play the Chiefs. Packers did end up with a victory in this particular game. It was actually a better game than we thought. 31-24, a lot of offense, a lot of good running. Aaron Rodgers is still doing what Aaron Rodgers does, but you got to give it to the Chiefs and Andy Reid. I mean, they came up with a great offensive game plan to try to stay in that game, be competitive, and it was a lot more to this game than I thought it was going to be. I was figuring the Packers would just run all over them. You know, we'd go to sleep early, but that game actually kept me up. In this particular game, I picked the Packers, and I did pick correctly. Mr. Parker, who did you pick?
this one, this was a very entertaining game. Rodgers threw for over 300 yards, but I mean, I'm kind of running out of things to describe for Aaron Rodgers. Man, he's been doing a pretty good job with this newfound offense. But the Chiefs were put up a little bit of offense against him. I chose the Packers on this one. Cheeseheads did it, and I was victorious with it.
Marcus?
You know, I picked the Packers, but much like you already said, you know, I expected really Green Bay to come in there and really, you know, it'd be a blowout, especially without, you know, Mahomes in the game and with the Chiefs' terrible defense. But you know, the Chiefs in the beginning are like, they were going to pull this one out. I was completely shocked. And, you know, Matt Moore didn't look bad at all. He was 24 for 36, 267 yards and 2 touchdowns. I mean, you know, it's not Mahomes, but I think he did enough for them to be able to have won that game. But once again, it comes down to their defense and you know, and it's Aaron Rodgers on the other side of that field. So you know they couldn't put it out, but it was definitely a much closer game than I had anticipated. And you know the Chiefs, even though they lost, the season, you know, it doesn't look like it's over for them. They say Mahomes is going to be back soon, but they need to keep ahead of the Raiders. And but I think they've already, as far as home field advantage, unless the Patriots go on a serious loser streak, they're done with that. So, but I picked the Packers.
Herman?
Yeah, I picked the Packers too. And remember, I told you I almost picked the Chiefs in this game. The Chiefs got a little gimmicky with their offense with Hardwick. Is that his name?
Hartgrove?
Hartman. And the Packers had no answer for that. And I think it was more of an adjustment in the game than it was part of the game plan. It looked like it was more of an adjustment. But, I mean, like you said, Matt Moore, he held it down. I think he's getting his confidence back. If the Chiefs' defense could have just been a little bit better, they would have won this game. I mean, you know, Aaron Rodgers, he threw for, like you said, over 300. He had 3 touchdowns. But, you know, most of his receiving yards went to Aaron Jones. They kept the running back.
They called back 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, I think Adams caught a long pass, caught a running.
Adams didn't play.
No, he didn't play. Yeah.
No, not Devontae Adams, the other running back. Maybe his name
Jones.
is Adams. No, it's Jones. Is
Jones.
another one too.
Williams.
Oh,
Jamal
Williams.
I'm sorry,
Yeah,
Jamal
Williams.
Williams.
Yeah, you're right. But most of his passes went, I think, to the running backs, which is, you know, it's kind of interesting. They had no answer for that. They were
you look at the
mismatch.
mismatch.
Linebackers, yes.
Hitchings can't cover no linebacker. The linebacker can't cover
they
no.
abused
Yes.
him a couple times. So,
You know Hitchings well.
yeah.
Aaron Jones, he had 7 receptions for 159 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, a running back.
But they use that
159 yards
they use that mismatch.
They did. So that was really, you know, that was really good offensive minded right there. So it was a good game. Definitely a good game.
So the next game we're going to talk about is the Monday night game. This was a game that was actually a little more competitive in the first half than I anticipated. The Dolphins came down to Heinz Field to play with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Pittsburgh did end up winning this game eventually, 27-14. but we were all on a group chat ribbing our fellow Steelers fan when the Dolphins went up 14-0. Fitzmagic was definitely in effect for the first half.
And who had the last laugh?
And Mark had the last laugh, but we were giving it to him, teasing him a little bit. But the Steelers defense stepped up. Fitzmagic turned into Fitztragic, threw a bunch of picks in the second half. They didn't score anymore after that 14. We'll let Marcus start this one off. How'd you have it, Marcus?
I mean, of course, I picked the Steelers. Even though, like you said, when they were up 14-0, I was like, oh my goodness, the Steelers are going to let the Dolphins get their first win of the season. But the Steelers decided to finally show up. They came in there and they got the job. They got the job done. So,
Herman.
Man, I picked the Steelers too. There's no way I could pick the Dolphins on this one, but the Steelers got their running backs are dropping like flies.
Yeah.
They lost 2, but they are getting ready to get back. Samuels, I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
So he'll be healthy this week. But it was shocking to see the Dolphins jump out 14-0. And you're like, this is it right here. This is their win. But the Steelers stuck with it like they usually do, and home game they pulled it out. I'm gonna say they pulled it out because they should have dominated the Dolphins.
They should have. And I picked the Steelers in this one, but the first half you could tell that Mason Rudolph was just off. I mean, he was rushing, he wasn't getting the ball out, he was getting sacked. And then like the second half, the other Fitzpatrick kept getting picked off by the new Steelers, Minkah Fitzpatrick. Had 2 critical interceptions in that game. Juju Smith went off a little bit in this game. They had a nice game, but there was one play before the half where Miami blitzed basically everybody. Rudolph threw to the wide receiver coming across the middle. He basically just took it to the house because there was nobody there to stop him. It was a 3rd and long, and everybody was kind of questioning why they were sending the house with that. Make them get the first down or make them kick a field goal. But they let them back in the game with that particular play, which is kind of how the Dolphins season has been going. But James Conner went off. He had 145 yards rushing, a touchdown. Did have a shoulder injury at the end of the game, like Herman was talking about. But I picked the Steelers, and I unfortunately was correct. Mark, we'll let you finish it out.
Well, you guys know who I took. I took the Steelers. It was a pretty nice win for them. Like you said, Rudolph started off a little bit shaky, like he wasn't quite comfortable back there. And we knew that he wasn't really going to be doing the dink and dunk. He knew he had to get it down the field, especially against this defense, this secondary. Minkah Fitzpatrick got a little bit of revenge back on his old team, which was great. But I think the key thing was James Conner being able to run the ball. That ate up a lot of clock. It helped settle down the offense and the pass rush. And Pittsburgh did what they needed to do in the second half. And that was play defense and air the ball out. I mean, even Juju had over 100 yards catching with 5 receptions for 103 yards. So way to go Steelers, and we're back in it. We got a nice little schedule coming up. So let's see what's coming out. Let's see what's coming down the road. Yeah.
So the Steelers bumped up to 2nd place in the division. And, one other note I forgot to mention is that J.J. Watt had a pretty good game.
He did.
Had a couple sacks in that game. Seemed like he was always in the backfield. TJ. I said
JJ.
No, I said TJ. There's too many of them Watson. There's too many of them. What's the other ones? Plays for the Chargers and the San Francisco.
Bosa.
Too many Bosas.
It's 3 Bosas.
Too many Watts, okay? Yeah. Y'all got too many of y'all parents being nasty too much. All right. We're going to move it on to the last 2 games. The next game we picked was the Panthers against the 49ers. This was not a barn burner. This game was ridiculous. Panthers put up a 50 burger on the 49ers put up a 50 burger on the Panthers. Wasn't really a contest at all. One of them Bosa boys was all in the backfield. Okay. Mark, we'll let you start this one off.
The Niners, who I chosen this one, they blew Carolina out. Tevin Coleman rushed he had 11 attempts for 105 yards. and 3 touchdowns. So they were just running wild. I think they might have the best defensive front in the NFL right now. All of them are pretty much number 1 draft
The
choices.
Niners, absolutely.
I don't think there's a might.
Yeah, I think that's
They're dominant, and they
Yeah.
wasn't doing a lot of blitzing in this game either.
They
They
don't
were
have to.
they were
don't
killing
have
them
to.
with the front 4. And I thought McCaffrey did rush for over 100 yards. Got a little bit of stuff going on in the first half, but the second half when they knew they had to pass, I mean they just buttoned the ears back and they just went for it. I chose the 49ers and they were victorious. I won it.
Herman.
Yeah, I went with the 49ers too. I'm definitely not questioning the 49ers anymore. They're playing too good. Right now, they are the hot team. Now, we all know that when the playoffs start, though, there's always going to be somebody that's hot. You know, somebody's going to get on a roll too. They might start to decline a little bit, but you know, if you have to go play in San Francisco, weather's usually pretty good. You know, in January, I'm gonna take my chances. So, you know, tip my hat to the 49ers. They are definitely the team to beat. Somebody's going to hit them in the mouth. And that's when we're going to see how good they really are because you got to see how they react to getting hit in the mouth. So,
Yeah, in this particular game, I also went with the 49ers. 49ers ran the ball exceptionally well. Garoppolo had a pretty decent game, but Tevin Coleman just took over. I mean, every time you turn around, he was breaking through the lines, going for long runs. Kyle Allen has come back to earth while everybody was praising him and trying to demote Cam. He was a measly 19 for 37 with 3 interceptions and no touchdowns.
you got a Cam game.
I don't know about that. Now. At least Cam would have put up another.
He might have put up
some more rushing yards in there to get that. But he definitely came back to earth. And like we were saying before, this offense goes the way McCaffrey goes. So McCaffrey, and he had a decent day, but it was just too much to try to overcome the way that defense played. Bosa on the other side had 3 sacks in this game. And that's still, like you said, that 49ers front was just all over the place. So congrats to them. Like you said, Herman, they got everything, but I still need to see a little bit more from Garoppolo. I don't know.
I mean, if you could jump up on them,
yeah,
then you have a good chance. But that's the thing.
That's the thing, trying to
Getting
get
up
it.
on
Yeah.
them. That's the problem.
And they lost a couple of their running backs in this game too. Breeder went down,
right.
and so they hurting with some running backs right now. But nevertheless, the defense is playing real well.
You want to know why I don't need to see any more from Garoppolo? 2 names: Brad Johnson and whoever that who was the quarterback? Who was the quarterback for the Ravens when they won the Super Bowl? Trent Dilfer. Yeah,
Trent Dilfer.
You've got a point. You're
that's
right.
why I don't need to see any more from Garoppolo.
Yeah.
As long as that defense keeps playing, I picked the 49ers. As long as that defense keeps playing like they're playing, the offense doesn't do much. I don't think offense didn't do much. So I think they can go very far. And Garoppolo doesn't have to be spectacular. He doesn't have to be MVP. He doesn't have to put up 52 touchdowns.
So you think the Saints? I mean, the Saints coming to town. You don't think that Garoppolo's going to have to?
I mean, if the 49ers defense can slow can slow the offense down, I don't see why not.
Do you think that they can? For that,
I think they
I think they can. Ain't that what the Cowboys did to the Saints last year?
Yeah,
They brought that whole thing to a stop.
see how I did that.
And there's no reason why the 49ers defense can't bring it to a stop as well. I mean, I think that'd be a good matchup, but I think they definitely can stop them.
All right, so we're going to move on to the very last game, which was the Philadelphia Eagles playing against the Buffalo Bills. The Eagles did come out victorious in this game, and actually in a pretty convincing fashion, 31-13. It was a comeback win, which the Eagles desperately needed after that debacle they had when they came to Texas Stadium. They left with that big L, but they turned it around. They actually ran the ball very, very well in this game. The running the ball, and then Kyle Allen was a little erratic in this game. Bills really couldn't get their running game going strong. Herman, how'd you predict it?
I picked the Bills in this one, and it's funny because I picked the Bills on the show, but for my pick'ems that I do, I picked the Eagles because I had a feeling that like Sunday morning I just had a feeling that the Eagles were gonna win that game. I knew the Bills weren't gonna show up. I just knew it. You know, it's like as soon as you think Philly is down and you're ready to kick them, they get up, and that's what they did. You know, it wasn't pretty, but they won. So I got that one wrong. And I'm not convinced about the Bills. They need to show me more.
Yeah. Mark, how'd you feel?
This one, believe it or not, this game stayed tight until the third quarter. I think it was 17-13 at one point in there. But we were talking about the 49ers game, how much good weather they had. This one, they had a wind gust of 20 miles per hour and it was drizzling. So it kind of, you thought it'd be a little bit of sloppy play. But the Eagles they just dominated in the second half. Like you touched on, they rushed for over 218 yards rushing. On the Eagles. Eagles rushed on the Bills defense. I'm sorry. I chose the Eagles in this one. I figured that they would have to come back with a bounce back performance after getting punched in the mouth against the Cowboys the week before. And
What'd you say?
I said they had to come back after getting punched in the mouth.
But our Dallas team.
Oh wow! Okay, that's what we doing.
Anyway, I took the Eagles. The Eagles won. So there you go.
I picked the Eagles in this particular game. Like I said, it was a desperation game. The Eagles had to get this game in order to get their season back on track. Had they lost this one, they would have dropped to 3-5. Sky was already falling after the Dallas loss. Like Herman was saying, Buffalo is good, but I just don't think they're there yet. They still need to get more offense. The defense is a championship style defense. They're like number 2, I think, right now in the league. But offensively, they just got to get a little more going. Josh Allen does a little too much running.
Yeah, he has not learned yet.
Yeah, it's like he's just gone. I mean, he's a good runner, but you got to stand in and give your receivers some time. So I got that one correct. Marcus, finish us out.
I picked the Bills because after that Dallas team smacked the Eagles in the mouth like that, I just didn't have any faith in the Eagles. Buffalo was the only team that really gave the Patriots a hard time this year. I thought they could pull it out, but in this game, neither quarterback did pretty much. Both of them under 200 yards. Where the Eagles excelled at was in rushing and time of possession, and that's how they won the game. I still have my doubts about the Eagles. To me, this game, I mean, it may mean a lot to them. It may have upped their morale a little bit, but for me, I still have doubts. I'm still not ready to say they've turned it around yet.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. They got in. I mean, and that was a good win. I mean, from they're 5-1. They dropped down to 5-2. So it is a good boost for the Eagles. But like you said, that team still has a lot of holes, and Carson Wentz just doesn't seem like the same player. I don't know if he's feeling it or over pressure or what, but it's just something different about him, and I hope it stays that way.
Real quick note, in the baseball game, Houston just scored, so they ended the zip score, the second inning during the second inning, so they down 1-0.
All right, so we're gonna chat up a little bit about this NFL trade.
First of all, again, how did you do in your picks?
Oh, that is a great question, Mark. How did you do in your picks, Marcus?
I was 3-2.
What were you, Mark?
I'm sorry, 2-3. 2-3.
5-0.
You were 5-0.
That's why. Yeah.
5-0.
That's why. Yeah.
That's exactly why. Yes.
I mean, we were just talking about it.
Wait! Stop the show.
Also, want to give out to the chat. Right now we got the fifth Beatle, Maury in the chat. We also got Connor back for the second week in a row. Thanks for showing up,
Connor. For joining. I went 4-1, by the way.
Marcus, what'd you say you went?
2-3.
2-3. All right, so you're no longer allowed to pick games.
Whatever.
All right, so let's get into this. The trading deadline passed yesterday at 3 o'clock? 4 o'clock yesterday. Not much going on at the very end. There was a potential trade for the Browns to the Redskins for Trent
Williams.
Trent Williams.
Why? Okay, I want to say Green.
I was gonna
Trent
say it
Williams.
too, yeah.
That did fall through. So Trent Williams did report to the Washington Redskins. Whole lot of chatter about the Jets. The Jets did trade their defensive
They did,
tackle Williams
Williams
to the Giants,
To the Giants.
for a seventh round pick.
No, it wasn't. It was more than that. I thought it was.
I didn't think it was that high a pick.
Look at that, Marcus. What was the draft choice? What did they get for the draft pick for
What is
Williams?
this?
What is what?
What is what? The Williams pick? The Williams trade to the Giants?
What are y'all asking me?
Leonard Williams. What did he get traded for?
What was his compensation?
What it was? I thought it wasn't no seventh round.
That's Connor. Connor knows. Connor.
Oh, you got to.
Any-
I'm trying to find it, but you got keep talking while I look it up.
Okay.
Well, let's talk about don't stay on the Jets. So I was reading today. There was big talk was about Jamal Williams, the safety, getting traded in Dallas.
Jamal Adams.
Jamal Adams. Sorry, Jamal
Not
Adams.
getting traded.
Not getting traded, and Dallas and the Ravens were in the mix to get him. So it turns out that Adams he went to the GM and told him he did not want to leave the Jets, and the GM went behind his back and shopped him anyway.
But
Now they got problems.
now, what there's two sides to this particular story, because from what was given by the GM of the Jets is that he was not shopping Jamal. He was getting calls and he was answering the phone.
Oh.
So he was doing his
Same thing.
no. Jamal Adams thinks that the GM was calling teams saying, "Hey, he's available." He wasn't doing that.
But teams were
But
actually
if you-
inquiring about
If
him
you
to get
negotiate,
him.
right, and if you start negotiating with a team about what you want for him, that means he's available. Because if he's not available,
You're not
there's
having
no
that contact.
conversation.
Yeah, but I
You
mean,
have
if
a-
that's the case, I mean, you have as a GM, you have to listen.
No, you don't.
have
If
to
you
listen.
have no plan on getting rid of a guy.
But there is no guy in the NFL that you would not get rid of for the right money. For the
Do
right
you think
deal.
that? Do you think that someone could call up the Kansas City Chiefs and get Patrick Mahomes? Do you
No.
think that they would even talk to anybody?
I think. I mean, I don't even know. You'd have to give away like your next number ones for like the next 10 years. You know?
There's
But
no
I mean,
way.
there is no actual player on the and the Jets was I mean they were going to let Le'Veon Bell go.
They're talking
know.
about
Yeah,
trading
they had
him. Yeah,
Le'Veon
They were
Bell.
going to trade Bell.
yeah.
said-
They
said
were
that he was
entertaining
possibly
thoughts
on
about
the
it.
show.
Yeah.
They were entertaining calls about him.
So I mean, if somebody offers you 3 number ones, I mean, for this guy, you gotta listen. If you don't listen, then you don't need to be the general manager of that team.
The Jets gave up a third. The Jets got a third rounder and a fifth rounder for Leonard Williams.
With Leonard Williams.
But
Okay.
I mean, to me, if a guy is not available, you don't even get enticed by an offer. I don't even take the call.
That's what I'm saying,
You
though.
don't take the ball?
You shut it down automatically.
If I'm the owner and you're my general, you listen to all offers. You listen to all offers, and we make an educated decision on if we want to do it or
That
not.
means all your players are available.
One of the reports I read is that the Cowboys was close to making this deal, but
It was-
they would have to give up more draft capital, more
Yeah, they
draft
wanted- he
choice.
wanted-
One and two,
Yeah, they didn't really. They
So
didn't want to really give that future
how
on
do you
that.
go back and say that you weren't shopping a guy if a team offers me
It-
something and then I start
It
negotiating?
It sounded to me if Cowboys was willing to give it up, they were
He
going
would
to
have been
trade him.
gone.
Yeah, he
that's
would
what
have
I'm
been
saying.
traded. He would
So
have been traded.
maybe, I guess shopping them is one thing, but if I tell you I don't want to leave and you start negotiating with a team,
We got a problem.
then
we got a
You
problem.
don't want me.
Yeah.
Well, no, I don't know. If
Why is that a problem? I mean, I don't think you really have a say.
As a player, I have a problem with that. If I tell you I don't want to go, and you start negotiating,
Your future is not set in with them if that's
It's
the case.
It's
not.
really not up to you if you want to go or not, really. I mean,
Exactly. And
But
it's
if you tell-
always a business, and that's where the line gets drawn. It's a business first. They're going to. It's your job.
This kid,
to
he's a
listen.
native Texan too. He's
Yeah,
from
he's
Texas.
from
Oh,
Dallas.
yeah, yeah.
He's from Dallas Fort Worth.
Yeah, somebody had tweeted out something that your old guy on ESPN, the Steeler,
Oh, Ryan Clark.
Ryan Clark had
Mhm.
tweeted out that something that he wanted to come home and play
They
for
said
his
he
home
would
team.
like
or
to,
something.
that he would like to come home. I mean, most players want to play back at home. but
Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, I get what you're saying. It's a business, but at the same time, too, when you obviously had a relationship with this GM and you talk to him, and you tell him, I'm a Jet. I want to be a Jet, and he's a rookie. No, he's on a rookie deal.
He's on his rookie deal. He has like another 3 or.
It's the second year.
Yeah, this is the second year.
Like now, we'll probably get him in the offseason. Dallas will probably get him in the offseason because they're going to work out some type of. He's probably going to be a little disgruntled at this point because now you start to wonder about your future with the team. So you don't lay it out all on the line. Oh Lord, what is going on with the Nats right now? You don't lay it out on the line now. You know what I mean? Because now I'm worried.
Turn the TV.
Sorry,
we're doing a show here. Okay.
Now I'm worried about. Are they going to get rid of me at any given time?
Right.
But you should always be worried about that, no matter what echelon player you are.
Sometimes you don't, though, when you're a star young player. You're supposed to be the core of the team.
I think he proved himself that he was a dedicated
Let me ask you a question.
player. So I don't.
Was Jalen Ramsey a core player?
No, because he was disgruntled. He wanted to go. That's a little bit of a different situation when you get with a player who wants to go, and then he's having fake injuries and all this stuff. Then he starts to become a distraction to the team, and you're almost forced to get rid of a guy then. But you got a young guy who he's a core. He's showing he's going to be a star, and he probably can be a leader.
You don't know if you guys remember, but early season when Jalen Ramsey got in an argument with the coach on the sideline, you kind of knew the writing was on the wall then. He had a little blow up one time on the sideline too with the coach, where he did a little bit of celebration on the sideline coming off the play, and the coach had said something to him. So I don't know if that had something, a small thing to do with it, but
what are the Jets trying to do, I guess, is the question.
I mean, the Jets are a dumpster fire right now. They need to get any and everything they can.
But when you dumpster fire, you get rid of the little bit older talent that's higher salary caps. This guy's on a rookie deal his second year.
But he has,
and he's showing.
But he has value. If you could have got a number 1 and 2 number 2s for him,
what do you get? You have to replace a star. So
but you got 3 chances to do it in the draft.
I don't know.
I mean, you could get you could not only that you could help your offensive line. You could help your defensive line.
There's lots of things you can do. Defense. He's a stud on your defense. He's a centerpiece.
He's the only bright spot on your defense.
And you're gonna get rid of that to go get an unknown.
I mean, but that's always what the deal is. And not only that, but you could use these trades to get somebody else. I mean, there's lots of options when you have that capital, but you still need to listen. You need to listen. You absolutely need to listen. Ain't nobody off. In my opinion. Shoot, I trade Aaron Rodgers tomorrow.
You trade Zeke tomorrow?
I trade Zeke tomorrow. Give me 2 number 1s.
If the price is right, I would
give me 2 number 1s.
That's a running back.
Give me 2 number 1s.
We got to move to another topic.
All right, we're moving on. So we're going to talk really quick because Jameis Winston is driving us crazy. I don't know what they're trying to do with this guy. He is a pick machine. He makes the worst decisions. We're sitting there, we're chatting again on there, watching this game. Every time he turn around, he's just throwing something. We're like, there's nobody there. There's like 4 defenders and no none of your players. Where are you throwing this ball at? What is going on with Jameis Winston?
I don't have a clue. I honestly do not have a clue. I don't know why Tampa Bay is still trying with him. Okay, he is not showing you stuff where he's having problems reading defenses or he's having fundamental issues with his mechanics. He is just stupid.
Yeah.
Seriously, I'm serious. I'm not being funny. He's being stupid with the ball. He's just throwing it out there and just please let something happen.
Maybe he's seeing ghosts.
Bro, you cannot coach this out of him. He has shown it for 4 years. It's time to move on. He is trash.
Did anybody hear what the head coach said? The head coach actually defended Jameis Winston and said that none of those picks he threw were his fault. None of them.
I mean, what else are you going to say? I mean, who's his backup?
It doesn't even matter. You can't get worse.
No. I don't care what he said. Them picks his fault. Them picks are atrocious.
Well, he was a turnover machine in college as well.
He sure was a turnover machine in college. Marcus, you're absolutely right.
It was one of the games in Florida State. He had to rally him back, but he threw like 6 picks in a game, but they had to rile him back. So he's been known to do this in college. I think this is it. I think this is last year.
It's definitely.
But this was supposed to be the year that this coach, this quarterback whisperer, who loves and the one thing Jameis is really good at is the deep ball. And this guy loves to go deep. When he was with Pittsburgh, all they did was go deep. When he was with the Cardinals, they were going deep all the time. But I don't know. There's just no helping Jameis. And I like him. I mean, I don't really care for him personally, but he's a nice guy.
You can't. I just feel like you can't fix this with coaching. It's been too many years for him to keep doing the same stuff.
Well,
So
okay, you just said Arians is a quarterback whisperer. Who's another quarterback whisperer that maybe could help Winston?
Bruh, he is beyond help.
You don't think Sean Payton could turn around?
No.
He has to have a line.
Josh McDaniels.
No, hell no. They wouldn't even. Josh McDaniels would rip him apart after he did one of these stupid things. Because McDaniels, you know how the way he coaches.
Tampa Bay has been very patient with him, despite his injuries and so forth. I would have thought that he gave up on him last year, to be honest with you.
Is this his fifth year?
This is his fifth year.
So they paid that was what,
this is his last year.
Option,
this is
right?
it.
Yeah, he's out of the rookie contract, right?
Yeah, this is the last year. So they just wasted $20 million.
He's going to be back next year. So.
I wouldn't necessarily say waste. They had to find out what they have in them. They had
5 years.
I mean,
they knew last year. They knew last year when
last year what he was.
Yeah, when Fitzmagic was playing.
Like I said,
well, you can say that you knew what he was last year, but you knew the coaching was going to be.
And maybe Arians, when he got the job, hey, I can fix it.
He did. He came out and endorsed it.
Remember, he said it. He said the only team I'll be interested in coming and play and coach would be Tampa Bay. That's the one he said he'd come out of retirement for.
His ego was too big. His ego was too big.
Right.
So the other issue we had to talk about is J.J. Watt. J.J. Watt had another injury in the game.
You sure it was T.J.?
No, this was
J.J.
Okay.
I mean, T.J. could be hurt too. Was he hurt?
No, he wasn't.
But we're talking about J.J. right now.
I'm just making sure you get the right Watt, brother.
The question that we were trying to spit around is he injury prone? J.J. Watt has been hurt a lot. And nobody really throws out this injury prone, on his name. He's just injured this year. What do you think, Mark? Is he an injury prone player?
I think he is. I mean, he's been injured, the last three
out of the
years?
4 last season.
Yeah.
And he's ended on IR.
Yeah.
That's crazy. But you're right. They never label him injury prone. They just be like, oh, he had a bad break. Oh, he got injured. It's so unlucky. This dude is injury prone. I mean,
he's been wearing that brace on that arm at least 3 years.
Yeah. Anybody see the play that he so-called got hurt on?
Yeah, it was just a routine tackle in the backfield.
That's what I was getting at. That's exactly what I was getting at.
And then he just got out. He did like this, and then all of a sudden he's going into the back to get evaluated.
It makes you wonder why the Texans let Clowney go like that, because you really haven't been able to rely on J.J. Watt to finish the season.
Yeah. Well, I think it was I know why. It was a money deal because Clowney wanted more than J.J. Watt, and they didn't want to pay him more than what J.J. Watt was making.
Well, J.J. was approving.
J.J. was approving a commodity. Yeah. He was the face of this franchise.
Was.
Yeah.
But at some point, you have to move on. I mean, try to talk to Clowney and say, hey, give it a little bit of time. I know players want to get paid, but I don't know. It's going to be interesting now. But from a couple things I was seeing, they was talking about could they actually be better without Watt? Could the defensive line be better without Watt?
I mean, who else do they have?
I don't know. They have a bunch of, I don't want to say no name, but they were getting that after the quarterback, even after Watt went out the game. So.
All right. So the last conversation we're going to have a talk about is real quick is the hot seat of the NFL coach again. And the hottest seat in the NFL right now sits right there in hot Atlanta with that Dan Quinn.
I don't know, because I think the Bears might have heated up their seat a lot more.
Oh, their seat is heated, but Dan.
No, I don't think the coach is in trouble in Chicago. I think the quarterback is in trouble in Chicago.
Nagy, after that kneel down crap, they missed that field goal. Now they're questioning.
I think they're questioning.
But again, like Marcus is right though. The reason they knelt down is because they didn't trust the quarterback.
But this is the thing. Apparently, the kicker wanted the ball in the middle of the field, and they knelt on the left hash. And they asked him, and he was like, "No, I want it in the middle." Oh, and then he realized, "Damn."
Now, but is that more of a agenda?
Well, if you're gonna kneel, then fine. But you can move over and kneel, and they didn't do that.
But who got the ball when he knelt?
The quarterback.
But still, but don't just fall on the coach. Don't just fall on the coach.
Yes, it falls on the coach.
Yeah,
it falls on the coach.
Yeah.
Ultimately, it falls on the coach.
I mean, ultimately, I felt like the coach was scared. He wasn't trying to.
I don't blame him. I get what you're saying. I wouldn't have thrown.
I don't know, man. I mean, you can't give him a roll out to the right and throw real quick to the tight end to go out of bounds.
I feel like you could.
With their problems they've been having with kickers, I mean, how much should you put in the kicker too?
Right, you can't put all that confidence in the kicker.
But the thing is, you put more confidence, and you made him go backwards.
Yeah, you did.
You pushed him back.
I don't know.
You didn't give him.
And they had a timeout, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you could have just ran the
ball.
Yeah.
Yes, you could have.
They said exactly. The coach, he was really ornery about this at the press conference. He was like, "Yeah, I didn't want to run the ball. Anything could happen. What if he fumbled? What if he lose yards? All these things went on and on and on." So, I mean, although his job is questionable, I'm just wondering when they're finally going to put the axe on that Dan Quinn fiasco, because the Falcons have just too much talent to be this bad this season.
You know what it is when Kyle Shanahan left, that offense just went to crap.
Kyle and the other gentleman, Green Bay's coach, he was in it too.
He was there with Kyle?
Yeah. Yes.
I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Did the Bears play last week?
The Bears played the Chargers.
The Chargers.
They barely Chargers beat them like 19-13 or something like that, or it was only like a point game. It was a really ugly game.
I was trying to see how many attempts Trubisky had.
He had
35.
Yeah, and he threw for like 253 yards, but a lot of that was like garbage at the end.
He's still
whole
passing
game.
too much.
Well, that's not garbage yards if you only lost by a couple of points. I mean, you were trying to win the game.
You were, but I mean, you needed to have those. I mean, all of a sudden you could throw it. You should have been throwing it the whole damn game.
Yeah, you're right. Between Atlanta, I don't know who's worse, Atlanta or Chicago.
I mean, and then again, this is only his second season. How long has Quinn? Quinn's been there a good 5.
Well, they went to the Super Bowl against New England. How many years ago?
2 years ago.
That was 3 years ago. 3 years ago.
Three. Okay, so it's about 5 years for them.
They've been going downhill ever since.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I think it's worse for Dan Quinn. The much talent that Atlanta Falcons have, and they made it to the Super Bowl. Yeah, they I mean that team is coming up short.
I agree. It's too much. They got too much talent.
Chicago's got just as much talent.
They ain't got
they don't.
They're still young.
No, they don't.
They're still young. They're still young. They're real young.
Defensively. But offensively, that team should be scoring way more points than what they do. And the thing is that Matt, he got hurt in that game too.
Yeah, Matt Ryan.
Matt Ryan got hurt in that game. But he's been putting up decent yards fantasy-wise. They just ain't
Matt
been
didn't
winning.
play in that game, right? Matt didn't play that game.
That's right. He didn't. Shaw played. He got hurt
game
before.
before.
You're right.
Yeah,
Shaw
yeah.
played in this game. You're right.
Yeah. I guess you're probably. I feel like they're both right there because right now, to me, Atlanta, even though they have all that talent, they're a little bit older. Chicago is wasting a prime defense right now, and teams have showed that you could win it with a defense, and they're wasting that defense right now. And it's like there's nowhere. Like to me, Nagy pushed all in on Trubisky, and he crapped out.
Didn't they trade up for? They traded up for
him. They were better. They were better.
Watson was still on the board.
Yeah.
It was a bunch of better players. I think Mahomes was still on the board.
Yeah, they crapped out on this.
Yeah.
And then they backed him like, yeah, we're gonna throw the football. It's like, okay. All right, and you're wrong. Like they were wrong. So Nagy to me, it seems like I don't know. I think that Falcons owner is a little more patient, or will be a little more patient because he's shown.
Hold on, having the Falcons been like a dumpster fire the last 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, they have.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been
Part of it was they went through a lot of injuries.
They did. They had a lot of
within the last 3 years. So a lot of key starting players had gotten lost. You lost Jamal, the running back. I'm thinking Jamal, but no.
What?
No, I'm thinking.
like
He's
back
on
in
that commercial.
Dirty
He's
Birds.
on that NFL.
Freeman, I'm
commercial.
sorry,
yeah.
Freeman. They lost Freeman at one time one year. They lost pretty much everybody in their defense another year. They lost the safety again this year. So, I mean, they've been injury prone for the last 3 to 4 years.
That's why I see their
Co-
owner being
that's-
a little more patient.
That makes sense with it. We're giving them a little bit more.
Chicago's
lenient.
starting to look like a laughing stock right now.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Not that the Chargers are looking much better,
No, they're not.
but that's a whole other story.
All right, let's give these.
Yeah, we got.
All right, so yeah, we're gonna get it moving. We're gonna get on these. Now remember, Mark, even though it's 9:00, we started a little late.
Y'all started late.
Y'all started late. We started on time.
Like I said, the show don't start till
Whatever.
All right, so we're going to start with the Thursday night game tomorrow. These 7-0 49ers are going down to the desert, and they're going to play the Cardinals. Like I said, the Niners are 7-0, Cardinals are 3-4. 49ers are giving up 10 points. We're bringing in that number 1 defense for the Niners, number 2 rushing offense against this Cliff Kingsbury offense that's only ranked 22nd. Not as high flying as we were anticipating. Kyler Murray is like number 14 rated in quarterbacks. The only bright spot they got is on defense. They got Chandler Jones, who has 8.5 sacks right now. One of the better players in the league. Herman, who will win this game and why?
I told y'all I believe in the 49ers. So
3 weeks ago, you said they were trash. They ain't playing nobody.
I thought they were. You're right. 3 weeks. That was 3 weeks ago. So time has changed. But I mean, come on. I'm going with the 49ers. They're hot right now. Nobody, they just crushed the Panthers. So I think it might be a better game than we're expecting because it's a divisional game, and divisional games are always, throw the records out the window. Let's see what happens.
Mhm.
But poor Kyler Murray is going to be running for his life, I think.
Which he's been doing all year long.
So I just hope, hopefully he doesn't get hurt or anything.
Marcus, give us a good reason why you're going to pick the Cardinals.
Well, I'm at the co-sign a lot of what Herman said. I think this might be a closer game than we think. It's a division game. The Cardinals, they're starting to get a little bit of steam. Starting to, I think Kyler Murray's starting to get a handle on it a little bit. I think Cliff Kingsbury is starting to get a handle on it a little bit. But I think the 49ers defense is going to be too much for them. They're going to get a lot of pressure on Murray. He's going to be running for his life. But I do think it'll be a closer game than we anticipate. But I'm picking the 49ers.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. I'm also going to go with the 49ers. Part of the other Cardinals' problem is that they lost most of their running backs. They just did trade.
They just traded for Kenyon Drake.
Drake from the Dolphins. But they lost like their 2 starting running backs. So it looks like Drake might get the handle on this, but that's kind of a bad time against this 49ers front. I just don't see Kyler Murray making the plays. Give me the Niners. Mark, round us out.
Believe it or not, Cardinals since 2015, they are 8-0. They are 8-0 against the 49ers, believe it or not. So you're talking about playing a divisional team. They're not afraid of them. The Cardinals own them for the last couple of years. One other thing I think about when I listen to this game or watch this game, this is the number 1 draft choice and number 2 draft choice coming out of 2019. We was in Tennessee in the rain when these 2 names were called. So that kind of flashed right there. I thought that was funny thinking about that. The way 49ers owned Carolina the last game, and San Francisco leading the lead in sacks with 29. Cardinals' offensive line is not that great. I'm taking the 49ers in this one.
So no lone wolf on the first one. Well, maybe we'll get one on this one. We have the Patriots coming down to Baltimore to play the Ravens. The Pats are fronting an 8-0 win record. Ravens are 5-2. Vegas is Patriots are giving up 4 points by Vegas. Brady actually quiet as kept as the number 5 rated quarterback in this game, and of course the Patriots are bringing that number 2 ranked defense behind the Niners for the first time.
Can I start this one?
No. The Ravens dropped down to 16th in defense, but they are number 1 in rushing. Marcus, who do you think is going to win?
Well, I think this would be a good game. You know, a lot of times the Ravens have had the pick. Can I pick?
Yes, sir. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
A lot of times the Ravens have had the Patriots number. You know, I think they knocked them out of the playoffs one year. Oh, y'all pay attention to y'all talking.
Yeah, we listen. Go ahead.
But Belichick is 21-0 against first and second year quarterbacks. So as much as I like to see the Ravens pull this one out, I'm going to go with the Patriots.
All right, Herman.
Yeah, I'm gonna co-sign on with Marcus on this one. I'm going with the Patriots. You know, Bill Belichick, they just find ways to stop what you do best on offense. And that Patriots, I mean, I feel like, you know, that run game kind of plays into that Patriots defense. They're gonna probably try to force Lamar Jackson to throw the football, and they're gonna get some turnovers. They've been scoring in every game, so since that's my fantasy defense, I need them to keep that up, keep scoring. So I'm going with the Patriots.
Mark.
The Patriots offense hasn't really been all explosive. They limited the running game too. They like, you know, they like short passes and so forth. But on the other hand, the Ravens has been explosive. They've been airing it out and had some nice explosive plays. This one, I think Patriots find a way. I don't know how, but they shut down your best offense or whatever weapon you have and shut it down. And they emphasize or they feature somebody else. I think it's going to be Mohamed Sanu this game. I think I'm taking the Patriots on this one all the way.
Man, you guys gave me some compelling points on this particular game. The Patriots and the Ravens normally have a good game. And normally late in the year or in the playoff, the Ravens has had the Patriots numbers a few times. In this particular game, the main point that you're bringing up is that they're going to take that running game, and I think they're going to shut it down. I think they're going to force Lamar to try to be a passing quarterback. I don't know how well they're going to do that. This Patriots defense has really been the shining point of this Patriots offense. Like Mark said, the offense is doing okay, but the defense has been giving them getting the turnovers, giving them the short field, letting them get down there. A lot of these games have been close until the defense makes a play, and then the Patriots start to blow it out the door. So I'm going to agree with you guys, and I'm going to go with the Patriots. So we're going to jump to the next game, which is the Monday night game. This is the Dallas Cowboys headed down to the Giants. Cowboys are 4-3, leading the NFC East against the Giants, who are 2-6. Cowboys giving up 7.5 in this game by Vegas. They're bringing down the number one offense, giving up getting 437.9 yards a game. The number 2 rush offense and the number 8 defense against this Giants 28th ranked defense, 25th in the pass, 22nd against the run. I'm sorry, 25th against the run. But Daniel Jones last week had a very nice game. Threw 28 out of 41 times for 322 yards, 4 touchdowns, no picks. The 41 times is kind of a lot. They did get Saquon back.
Yeah, but he didn't he tweak his ankle again in that game?
I don't know.
I think that's why Daniel Jones threw so much.
So it's going to be a normal NFC East battle. But I'm going with my boys on this one. The way that they're playing against the Eagles, the way that this Giants defense is almost like a sieve. I just can't see the Cowboys going down there and losing. I think they'll sweep the Giants. Give me the Cowboys. Marcus, who you got? Marcus, are we frozen?
Oh no, I'm not. I'm my bad. I was on mute. I hate to pick the Cowboys, but if you look at
did you say a couple weeks ago you were never picking the Cowboys again?
But I mean, if you look at the statistics, I mean, come on, man. The Giants are bad, and like you just said, first ranked offense against a 24th ranked offense, 8th ranked defense against a 28th ranked defense, 3rd in passing, 4th in rushing. I mean, it's a division game. Giants could pull it out. but I just don't see how that's possible. So I'm picking the Cowboys.
Mark.
I mean, you guys touched on some good things. What was the score of the game we played earlier when y'all played earlier? What was that?
Like
Yeah.
31.
It was a blowout.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like 31 to.
yeah. I see this one being a blowout again. I'm taking Cowboys.
Herman, are you going to lone wolf it?
No, you guys know I'm not going to lone wolf it now. You know, I picked against my Cowboys to get us back on the win track. You know, when they beat up on the Eagles, but I think Dallas. You know, they're coming off a bye. They should be very well prepared. We have a new pass rusher in Michael Bennett. You know, it's going to
That
be
was the other trade we didn't talk about.
yeah. It's going to be hard for the Giants to handle the combination of Quinn Bennett and DeMarcus Lawrence, and then you throw in Woods. So yeah, I feel like the offense should be on track. They showed they were getting back on track the last game.
Everybody got healthy in the bye.
Right, everybody should have gotten healthy in the bye. So yeah, I'm definitely going with the Cowboys. I don't know about a blowout, but I think it'll be, you know, close for a little while. Dallas will probably pull away towards the end.
All right. So the next game that we have a conversation about real quick are the Minnesota Vikings going against the Kansas City Chiefs. This is the second week in a row that the Chiefs are underdog. Vikings are giving up 3.5 by Vegas standards. Vikings sporting a 6-2 record with the Chiefs at 5-3. The Chiefs still have the number 2 passing offense. Now I don't know if that's because Matt Moore did okay, or you know just that.
I think Mahomes
just had it that high.
He just had a high head.
They're still number 2. Cook is leading the league in rushing with 823 yards. They ran the ball down the Redskins' throat. Kansas City's defense has not been able to seem to stop anybody. I don't think this will be a close game. But for some particular reason, I feel like Kirk's going to crumble in this particular one. And I think that the Chiefs will do enough to get the win. So this is my upset special. Give me Kansas City.
No.
Herman?
Well, you're not going to howl because I'm actually going to pick the Chiefs on this one. Chiefs are at home. I think they're calling for maybe a little bit of snow
Already?
this weekend. I think I saw my cousin. I had posted. He's a Kansas City Chiefs fan. He had posted up snowfall predictions, so I think there actually is a storm moving out that way. But I just feel like I think Matt Moore is going to have, you know, his confidence is going to build from the last game. I think he's going to use his weapons a little bit better, and I think that I think Kirk Cousins is going to turn the ball over a couple of times, whether it's a fumble or a pick. The Vikings on the road are a little bit different than the Vikings at home are.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going with the Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
Mark, what do you feel?
This one is Mahomes back for this one?
I don't believe so.
I don't think he is, but it was
he's
a
practicing.
possibility. But
He's practicing.
they say he's definitely going to be back for the Titans
Yeah.
game.
The Minnesota Vikings, I mean, they play great at home. On the road, I don't think they're that great when they get outside their dome. Chiefs, the Chiefs, if they can maintain the ball, time possession, I think they can come out victorious in this game. With that one said, I think I'm gonna take the Chiefs on this one also.
All right. Marcus, you going to round us out or you howling?
Well, you know, last week I picked against the Chiefs. Even without Mahomes playing, I think what's the coach's name?
Andy Reid.
Henry Reid.
I think Andy Reid is going to try to, you know, get this team together and get them ready. And the Chiefs really can't afford to get too far behind. Like I said earlier, you know, they probably already lost home field advantage, and the Raiders are, you know, are knocking at the door.
You didn't know the Raiders lost last week, right?
But I still think they're knocking at the door.
Okay.
I mean, if the Chiefs keep losing, then you know they're still knocking at the door. So I think the Chiefs are going to pull it. I think the Chiefs are going to pull this one out. Like Mark said, Kirk Cousins, he's going to go back to his old self eventually. I see a couple of picks, a couple of fumbles, you know, in this game.
All right. So we all agree with the Chiefs. So far we've been all on point. I wonder if this last game somebody might have. We got the Green Bay Packers going down to Los Angeles to play the Chargers. Packers sporting a 7-1 record. giving up 3.5 by Vegas standards against the Chargers, who are 3-5. 3-5. The Packers have the number 2 quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, 2,324 yards. Devontae Adams is
Wait, how many yards
2,324,
already?
Mhm.
Good Lord. Okay.
and that's number 2. Devontae Adams is supposed to be returning for this particular game, so that is a boost for that Packers offense. Actually, the Chargers quarterback, he's number 3, 2,315 yards. Rivers.
To the room.
Rivers had an average game last week, 19 out of 29, 201 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. The big guy is Bosa. Bosa has 7 sacks for the season right now. In this particular game, the Chargers just don't do enough for me. They got Melvin Gordon back. I haven't been impressed until they show me something. Give me the Packers. Herman.
Yeah, I'm with you. The Chargers aren't showing anything, and you would have thought after last year, that again, why are these teams stepping back?
Yeah, I mean they were right in the mix with Kansas City last year.
Exactly. And why are these teams stepping back? I mean, is it injuries? They did lose their tight end for good. He just came back, so I guess that could have affected too. But I just don't get it. And I think that Lynn may be on the hot seat too, their coach, because you're gonna hold these coaches accountable for when you make these runs in one year and then the next year you turn around and you look worse.
You flop.
Yeah, you start to flop. So I'm going with the Packers on this one. The Packers are starting to show that Packer team again. They kind of they've worked through their offensive, I don't want to say woes, but whatever their offensive stuff
learning
they need
curve,
to deal
whatever.
with, and now they're hitting again. So, and then if they do get Adams back, and he gets his wide receiver, they're just even more dangerous now. So, I'm going with the Packers.
Mark, are you lone wolfing it?
Well, see, the Chargers didn't enjoy it a couple weeks ago when Steelers went there and they pretty much took over that stadium. They're not gonna like this one either. Cheeseheads are gonna be dominating in San Diego again. Aaron Rodgers, man. I mean, he's picking up this offense with McFleur pretty good. I got a feeling if we went up there and played wide receiver, I think we'll be all right up there with Aaron Rodgers. With that said, I can't pick against the Packers. I'm taking the Packers against the Chargers.
All right, Marcus, this is your last chance. You lone wolfing it?
Well, the Chargers just aren't. They like you said, taking a step back. They aren't looking good this year, and Aaron Rodgers is like he's in top form again. He's finally got that defense flowing. The offense flowing, and the defense is is pretty good this year. I'm not going to pick against Aaron Rodgers. I'm going to go with the Packers.
All right, so this is going to be a very boring show next week because we all picked the same teams. The whole game. Y'all want to go back through there? Y'all sure y'all want to change up none of them?
Your list is on my. Yeah, I guess we did pick the same.
Nobody wants the Ravens at all?
We either going to do real good or real bad.
Yeah. All right, so we all did good last week. We had a good show this week. We apologize for being a little late.
I'm sorry.
We will make it up to you next week. Marcus, you want to get us out of here?
First of all, there would be a $10 fine for both of y'all. Collect that Herman before they leave.
I have plenty of money for the Vegas draft.
Before we leave, I want to encourage everyone to like, share, and subscribe. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Help us get them those subscriptions up, get those likes up, so we can bring this show to more people. Put us out there, whether you're watching now, whether you're watching later. Takes 1 second to hit that like button. Takes 1 second to share it on Facebook, Instagram, any social media you're a part of. But we'll see you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. Peace.
Come on, Nats. Come on, Nats.
Yes, let's go Nets.